In the classic saga of Knights of the Zodiac, we meet the Silver Knights, and this is the first time we see these warriors in action. And although some Silver Knights, like Orpheus of Lyra, Algol of Perseus, and Misty of Lizard had remarkable appearances, most of the knights who hold this rank were completely underused, in the story having only a brief appearance in the classic saga. Hello knights and Amazons, welcome to the Semper Quis Saber channel. This is Wes speaking. And in today's video, I'm going to show you the 7 forgotten and underused Silver Knights in the classic Saint Seiya anime. Did you like the topic? So go ahead and comment your favorite Silver Knight. And of course, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and let's get into this awesome video. Always know Knight number 1, Dios of Fly. Our video starts with a tense hunt for the Bronze Knights, where the Sanctuary was sending powerful knights to destroy Seiya and his friends. However, since the Silver Knights were not able to fulfill this mission, the evil Grand Master sent the Gold Knight Auriga of Leo with the goal of destroying Seiya. And this is where we are introduced to the Silver Knight of the Fly constellation. Dios had the mission of watching over the Gold Knight Auriga of Leo to check if he would really kill the Bronze Knights. Dios was only a little older than Seiya and his friends, being just 16 years old, standing 1.60 meters tall and weighing 56 kilograms. Born in Mexico, he is the Silver Knight of Musca, a minor constellation of the Southern Hemisphere, and as a fun fact, his zodiac sign is Cancer. Dios's technique, the deadly flight, consists of grabbing the enemy by the legs, throwing them into the air, and when the enemy is falling, Dios delivers the immortal kick. Yes, increasing the power of their fall. And in the story, realizing that Auriga wouldn't kill Seiya, Dios, together with 2 other knights who were watching the Gold Knight, steps in to finish off the Pegasus Knight. However, my friends, the handsome Fly Knight ended up being a victim of the plot, which needed to highlight the awakening of the Sagittarius gold cloth. And when he jumped to attack Seiya, who ends up wearing the gold cloth, Dios was instantly pulverized, ceasing to exist in just a few seconds. And in the Hades saga, he returns as one of the renegades, using some fly-like surpluses, but he is destroyed by Shun of Andromeda, who used the power of his chains. Thus, he ends his participation in the classic anime by landing only a kick on Seiya and another kick on Shun. Knight number 2, Sirius of Canis Major. Alongside Dios on the mission that led to his death was Sirius of Canis Major. At only 17 years old, he is of German origin, standing 1.85 meters tall and weighing 86 kilos. He trained at the Sanctuary in Greece itself. His constellation is home to simply the brightest star in the night sky, which is also called Sirius. And in Greek mythology, this constellation represents Lelaps, the magical and tireless hunting dog of the giant Orion. And as a curiosity, Sirius was a Capricorn. Sirius wielded great power through his fists, and his ability was called Great Crushing Fist. Developing extremely high speed, Sirius concentrates his cosmos in his right fist, and then his body is surrounded by a blue aura, taking on the appearance of a comet, and furiously striking his opponent at Mach 2 speed. He acted as the arrogant leader of the trio of Silver Knights who watched over Auriga. However, Seiya's speed of light when he wore the Sagittarius armor destroyed him quickly before he could understand what was happening. And to make matters worse, when he was resurrected as a specter in the Hades saga, he was humiliated again, this time quickly after landing a blow on Shunji Andromeda. Knight number 3, Algeti of Hercules. Closing the trio of Silver Knights who were decimated by Seiya in Japan, we have the Mountain of Muscles, Algeti of Hercules. Born in South Africa at 17 years old, he was a true giant among humans, standing 2.4 meters tall and weighing 180 kilos. His armor carries the name of Hercules, the greatest Greek demigod, the absolute symbol of physical strength and overcoming challenges. And as a curiosity, Algeti's zodiac sign is Leo. His attack, the supreme power of Hercules, is originally called Kornephoros, which refers to one of the stars in the Hercules constellation. With this ability, Algeti channels his immense strength into a destructive throw whose impact destroys the opponent. This is the version of the attack in the manga, and also the version used against Shun in the Hades saga. However, in the anime, we have a second version of this ability, where Algeti creates a gigantic windstorm with his own fists. However, despite his colossal size, he was defeated by Seiya wearing the Sagittarius armor, and later, after being resurrected, he was defeated by Shun. Knight number 4. Arakele of Tarantula. This character does not exist in the original manga, being created exclusively for the classic anime by Toei Animation. Arakele of Tarantula was a filler character exclusive to the anime, which was common in Japanese animations at the time, so that the anime would not surpass the original story, thus giving the author more time to develop the manga. His own tarantula constellation is something that was invented, since it is not among the 88 modern constellations that represent the knights of Athena's army. Sent to intercept Seiya in the mountains of Jamiel, Arakele used webs of Cosmo energy that drained the enemy's Cosmo. This ability is called Tarantula Web, and Arakele gets into a spider position to activate it. With this, he almost annihilated the Pegasus Knight, who was without his armor. But defeat was only avoided thanks to the interference of the Steel Knight, Asusho. Due to this distraction, Seiya manages to put on his armor and launch the final attack. And after being defeated by Seiya's Pegasus Meteor, Arakele disappeared from the story. And so, no one ever mentioned the Tarantula Knight in the franchise again. Knight number 5. Tremy of Sagitta. Tremy of Sagitta is the Silver Knight who represents the constellation of the Arrow, and he was the warrior who fell quickly without having an exciting battle against the Bronze Knights. That's because he was quickly defeated by Seiya of Pegasus, who wasn't even wearing his armor. Born in Libya, he was 16 years old, 1.8 meters tall, and weighed 73 kilograms. His training took place in Egypt and Thebes. As a curiosity, his zodiac sign is Gemini. The constellation of Sagitta carries the legend associated with the arrow that Hercules used to free Prometheus from the eagle. And other versions say that this constellation represents the very divine arrow that Apollo used to kill the Cyclopes. Disguised in the sanctuary, Tremy welcomed Athena and the Bronze Saints at the base of the 12 houses. And in a surprise attack, he used the Phantom Arrows, a storm of illusions that creates a rain of arrows, which was able to hide the one true golden arrow that pierced Saori's chest. Immediately after that, he was obliterated by Seiya. Knight number 6. Spartan Knight. This is one of the greatest knights among the greatest knights. Spartan is a silver knight exclusive to the anime, and there is no information about his origin. Fans theorize that his armor represents the compass, but this was never made official. Spartan's distinguishing feature was his terrifying level of telekinesis. The guy simply brought down the plane where the protagonists were, using only the power of his mind to do it. And during the battle alongside Sheena and Perseus's goal, a mistake sealed the fate of the fight. When Shiryu dodged the attack, the petrifying ray from Algol's Medusa shield hit Spartan directly, turning him into stone. When the dragon finally killed Algol and destroyed the Medusa shield, Spartan returned to normal and ran away. And after that, the character never appeared again. Knight number 7. Capella of Auriga. We close the list with Capella of Auriga, who represents the constellation of the Charioteer. Being a 17-year-old Greek, 1 meter and 83 centimeters tall and weighing 80 kilos, he trained at the sanctuary in Greece. And as a curiosity, the character's zodiac sign is Leo. His constellation honors Erichthonius of Athens, the son of Hephaestus and the goddess Gaia. Since he was born with legs in the shape of a serpent, Erichthonius invented the 4-horse chariot to be able to move around. True to the myth, the Capella's armor features 2 discs that represent the wheels. He fought by throwing these deadly discs that sliced through anything and returned to his hands like sharp boomerangs. His huge problem was trying to attack Ikki of the Phoenix, who had just returned from hell. And instead of dodging, he counterattacked with the Phoenix Phantom Fist. In the illusion of the attack, Capella saw his beloved discs return and sever his own arms. The psychological shock was so monstrous that Capella became catatonic, screaming and being defeated by his own mind, which was shattered. Analyzing the trajectory of these 7 knights, it becomes evident that they were barely explored. We don't know much about their origins, and they only served as stepping stones for the Bronze Knights to accomplish great feats and become stronger. Did you like the video? Leave a comment to let me know. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.